Alright guys, so I think they're about done with this pond, which means it's time to start thinking about how I'm going to build this fence around the place. So let's take a walk and go look at it. So right over here, this corner post, originally my plan was to dig the pond myself, right? Then I was going to run a fence off of this corner post, and you can see I had already started clearing some trees back this way in order to run the fence that way. But as big as this pond has gotten, and they've cleared this nice cool road for me, I think I'm going to change my plan a little bit. So first of all, I'm going to put a gate in here, I think. But since they've made this nice road for me, this will give me access to my pond. I'm thinking though, since this is kind of how it is, I may as well move this fence to the other side of these trees over here. So if you remember, the house is going to go right over here eventually. So all this will get kind of slicked off, all cleared. And so I think I'll just go ahead and move that fence up against kind of where they've got the road cut right here, all the way back to the road over here. So what I'm doing is just trying to figure out how many H's I'm going to need to make. I'm going to get those prefab this week, I hope. And then I'll need to plan out how much barbed wire, how much fence, T-post, stuff like that. So I need to have at least a rough idea of kind of how many, feet of fence I'm going to need to run. And it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a huge project. There's my running mate. So anyway, we'll run the fence back this way. And right up here is where my gate's going to be. Now the gate's going to be all pipe fence. So starting out though, I know I'm going to need at least 4 H's so I can go ahead and have those built. So the way that'll work is right over here. I'll have an H, and it's going to angle back to about where I'm standing. There'll be an H on this side, another one on this side, angle back that way, and then reconnect to that fence, so another H over there. So 4 H's that I know I'm going to need. Now all this is going to be, my house is going to be right back there. So this I intend to leave just scrubby and nasty. I'm not going to clean that out. Again, it's just a visual barrier. You can't see it, then you don't know if there's anything back there to steal. And it's not just me being paranoid. This is Oklahoma. We have meth heads, and they will steal your stuff. So if they don't know it's there, they're going to be less likely to try and ram a gate to get in there and see what I got. So that's the plan. Keep all this nice and thick and nasty. So to that end, I don't really think I'll actually put cows in this little piece of the woods here. But I might. You never know. I could run a fence kind of on the north side of where the house is going to go, then have cows in here. Probably be fine. But I mean, they're going to clear out a lot of this undergrowth and stuff, and I kind of want to leave that. So we'll play that by ear as we go. So to that end, I may not actually need to rebuild this fence and this corner over here. As you can see, I've got fence up against the road right here until right there. And they had to bulldoze that to make this road that I'm walking on here. They cut all this so that they could get their big off-road trucks through there. And then, so that fence, if I put it back, we'll just have to run along next to the road right here. And it culminates in a corner right over here on my property line, which is right up here. So that T-post with the flag hanging off of it, that's the corner of my property. So you can see there's a piece of pipe fence right there. That was my fence. They removed it. They're nice enough not to destroy it. So if I want to, I might could put that back. That side's a little bit bent up, but is what it is. Either way, I can make a new one if I need to. And then I've got a fence here in between my property and my neighbor on this side. Now this stuff's kind of miserable to walk through, so forgive me. I've actually already walked it once just to get an idea. Now I'll try to walk it again and get a more accurate count of what I'm going to need. So again, I could turn this back into pasture. It doesn't even really need to be pasture, but I could put animals in here and graze them. I don't know if I will this far north though. So I think what we'll do is right up here. It's thick in here. Can't wait to get the backhoe fixed where I can just drive through here. I do want to clear this whole fence line out just so that I have access to it. And try to get some grass growing in here. If you remove some of the cover so that the sun can get down here, burn off all the leaves and sticks and stuff. Okay, so I walked too far. But anyway, you can get grass growing back in here again, and it'll help keep all these trees and stuff as long as I keep it mowed. Back this way, at some point, we're going to cut straight across. We're going to end up kind of back where we started. And then that will be house. This will be go back to the cows. So I'll need an H over there, and I'll need one over here. This will be kind of a weird little, kind of a small little section, but might as well fence it in and let the cows have it. It's not doing me any good otherwise. And as long as I leave all the big trees and stuff, but then clear out some of this undergrowth, it'll actually be great for bow hunting. Maybe I can get some turkeys in here. That'd be cool. So the turkeys, they don't like this type of stuff because you can't see through it, right? So you clear out all this little scrubby nastiness where it's just trees and grass, and turkeys like it better. So anyway, from there, we'll come off of that fence that's already back there behind me. And then the creek is right here. Right? So basically, I'm just going to follow the creek about 20 feet inside of the current shoreline, just to account for erosion over, you know, the rest of my life. And I may have to move it or fix it at some point down the road, but hopefully if I kind of plan this out correctly, it'll be years before I have to mess with it. Decades, hopefully. So we'll come through here. I'll avoid this little spot where it's all, you know, eroded away. We'll stay on the inside of it over here so that I don't have to have a water gap right there. This isn't a huge deal right here anyway, but it's going to get worse. It's just going to keep eroding away. Hopefully we can get a lot of good grass and stuff growing in here, Bermuda. That will actually help with the erosion. Briars suck. So anyway, the fence will be running along over here in front of me. It's going to be a huge project. So first of all, I've got to get the backhoe fixed, just so that I can get in here and clear all this. And I'll roll a fire through here at some point. We'll burn off a lot of this undergrowth and the leaves and sticks and crap that's going to be in my way. What that doesn't take care of, a basket case and chainsaw will. I hate these thorns. See these things? Ugh. Grab at you, stab right through your clothes. Miserable. Don't wage war on those. Try to get rid of them all. Okay, so there's kind of a bend in my fence here, so I'm going to need some sort of a corner support over here. So for now, I'll just build up an H, and then I can put that H in place, and then I can build the corner off of it once it's in place. And the idea behind prefabbing all this stuff is that I can do it in more ideal conditions. Easier welding. I won't have to be in weird, positions, laying on the ground trying to look underneath a piece of pipe and weld it. Just makes it easier. As much of it as I can do kind of on a bench. I don't actually have a bench, but you know what I mean. It might be worth my while to build up a little jig that I can set my pieces of pipe in, and then it'll hold it for me kind of where I need them, and make the welding that much easier. So we'll see what I come up with. I may not. I may just kind of wing the whole thing. Kind of my style. Miserable to walk through. So one of the problems that I'm going to be running into constantly is all this deadfall. There's a ton of it. Check out this humongous tree. Isn't that cool? I love trees. They're almost like aliens, right? It's like it just breathes in carbon dioxide and sunlight and somehow turns into that. It's just amazing. It's got these big knots on it. Isn't that cool? Anyway, that one's gonna stay. I ain't cutting that down. Not just because I don't have a saw big enough to get through it. I like it. It's a cool tree. Maybe I'll hang a stand in it, hunt out of it. A lot of the bigger trees I'll try to leave. I don't mind having trees. Cattle like the shade. And if they have branches down low enough, they like to eat the leaves off of them too. That's a lot of people think cows only eat grass, but they like eating all kinds of stuff. So I see them all the time chewing on trees. So they like them. I like to look at them. We'll leave as many of them as I can. So now, previous to me owning the place, where is it? See that stump? Somebody had come through here and started cutting down a bunch of trees in order to start clearing this out. Never really finished it though, so all the trees that they cut down are still laying here. So I'm gonna have to deal with that. Oh geez. Hang on, I gotta find a different way around. That's what I'm talking about with these vines. Sucks. Once you get wrapped up in them, you can't just slip out because they're all thorny, I think I've said this before, but they grow those theoretically to protect against predation, right? Keep animals from trying to eat them and stuff because they're thorny. But because of those thorns, I hate them, so I'm gonna Kill them all if I can help it. Ow. What are they doing? See this? Stupid thing. This is why you're going to die. Well, I think that was a little more than my little Sawzall could handle. So this is I bought this used real cheap. It's like 20 bucks at an auction. So with a bunch of blades, used it a lot. Definitely got my 20 bucks worth. Cut all that pipe up. That's pretty good for a who knows how old Sawzall. I was almost done. That's the sad part. I had that cut and 2 more, and I'd have had all my uprights done. So, yeah. Well, time for the torch, I suppose. So like I said, roll a fire through here. That's good for the forest bed anyway. Fall burns. So maybe later this year, I'll wait until they're done, because I don't want to have to deal with having a fire anywhere near all that equipment of theirs. You know, they've got millions of dollars of equipment sitting out there. I can't afford to replace it if I accidentally burn something up. So hopefully this year I can get to it. We'll burn all this. That'll help a lot. Get all this stuff out of here. Then everything underneath will grow better. So it's kind of, I don't know, I think it seems counterintuitive, but if you don't let this stuff burn off every once in a while, that's kind of nature's cleanup tool, right? Wildfires. If we can help it, we'll have a controlled burn instead of a wildfire. If you can do it that way, you can mitigate damage to, you know, nearby homes and properties, and ultimately it's beneficial for the ground, for the plants and wildlife and everything else. So controlled burns actually prevent wildfires, which, I don't know, may sound weird. A lot of places they don't want you to do controlled burns because they think it's bad for the environment, but then you have wildfires that burn entire states. You know what else is bad for the environment? House fires. Places that don't do controlled burns, they have wildfires and they burn houses down. Okay, so in addition to the woods, this is intended to be a crossing the creek. That's my property over there on the other side of the creek. I have just a little bitty piece over there. It's hard to get to, and right now this is all kind of messed up. It's all just eroded away. At some point though, I'll be able to get in here and fix this. So right back here behind me, right over there, I'm going to put in a gate there, and then I can get the backhoe in here, fix this little crossing area, maybe kind of build this up a little bit. They put some metal in here before me, and this is even actually before, there it is, before the people that I bought it from, and even before the person that they bought it from. So I don't know what that used to be. Maybe it used to be a little walk bridge across the creek there. It's kind of what it looks like. But that metal goes all the way across though, so that's kind of interesting. But I think that's what they had going on. Ooh, slippery. Is they had a little walk bridge right across the creek right there, so they could get over there and hunt probably. It is, of course, since then it's gone away. It's in the ground. So anyhow, so put in a gate back there. So that's gonna be 2 more H's that I need. What am I up to now? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for the corner. Okay. So it's 9 that I'm gonna need to build. And then I'll probably build up a couple more just to put kind of intermittently, since this is such a kind of a nasty area and going to be prone to, at least at first, prone to having trees fall on it and stuff like that. I figure the first couple of years after I build this, it'll probably take quite a bit of maintenance to keep it up, just because, I mean, it's so wild right now. Alright, now, just a point of reference, the new pond is right up here above us. Here in a little bit we'll be able to see their big track over there. Yep, right there. See it back there? Right there. So that's the pond right there behind me. So we'll keep running fence across here. Now, I'm going to have a kind of a minor water gap. Right here, there's kind of a little divot that runs off. And that'll be actually probably pretty active, so that's going to be essentially the overflow from my pond. All kind of funnels right through here. Big hole right there. But all the overflow from the pond is going to come right down this way. There's a big dirt pile there right now, but it'll be gone eventually. But it'll all kind of flow right through here. So I'll have to build up a good water gap right there. Make sure the fence stays there. And so pretty much every time it rains enough to fill the pond up, that's going to have water flowing through it. So make sure I do a good job. I'll probably put an H on either side of that. So that puts me up to 11. Or maybe just build pipe fence straight across that. That'd probably be better. Just put pipe fence across it and I can put a panel on it so the calves don't get through it. Yeah, we'll do that. Alright, so back down to 9 on the H's. That I'll just build in place. Now, I don't have a postal auger, but my neighbors do, and they'll let me borrow it. So that'll be nice. Won't have to try and dig all these with a clamshell, you know, that would suck. This ground, it's soft for like the first, foot or so, and then it turns into that hard clay, and it's just about impossible to dig with clamshell postal digger. So still following the creek right over here. All of this around. So all this woods back here behind me, this is all going to be new pasture that's never been used as pasture, never been cleared. So that'll be cool. Once again, we'll do a lot of selective logging through here, take out a lot of the smaller trees. Some of the bigger ones though we'll leave. Like this, look at this big old sycamore tree. Yeah, it's just a monster. Now it looks like it's about to fall over, but it's going to fall that way. My fence will be on this side of it, so no big deal if it does. If it does, I'll probably go cut it up. I think you can mill that down, and it's good for making cutting boards and like butcher block type stuff out of. I guess it's got kind of a weird grain to it, but people make butcher blocks out of it. So, Dad, if that tree ever falls down, I'll get you a cool sycamore tree to mill up with your new Alaskan mill. Alright. This area is a lot nicer. Right through here. Probably have to take a few small trees out, but for the most part, just burn this off and start getting animals on it again. There's already fescue and stuff growing up over here, so that's good. Once you get the sunlight on it more consistently, then it should just kind of take off and do really good, I think. Bigger trees like this guy get to stay. A lot of these littler, spindly guys like this, we'll take them out. And then, my only big water gap is going to be right here. So, this little ravine here. So I'll build a water gap across this. And then, so, probably do pipe fence on that as well, so I won't build. Well, no, you know what? I probably will build 2 H's for this because it's big enough. I'll put one here, one on the other side, right over there by that big tree, and then build up pipe and do whatever I need to do down there. So, all right, back up to 11, and then this turns. So, yeah, I'll have to make that kind of an L. Now, I don't know exactly what that angle is going to be. It's not 90 degrees, so I'll just wait until I get out here. I'll have the H already built, and I can get to this from the other side without having to go through a very big ravine like this for drilling those holes. So anyway, we'll angle it back this way, and then the original fence that used to be here, still kind of partially up. It's right here. We'll just tie back into this. I think, probably, yeah, just tie back in here. I'll set a new corner here. And it won't really be a corner. Again, it's going to be kind of a shallow angle, but so we'll build up a pipe brace here. I'm not going to walk through the rest of that. You guys get the point. I'll need a new H over there. And yeah, okay. So I'm going to need 12 H's and some corners that I'll just build on site. So, all right. Well, that's the plan. So I'm going to walk back now, and then I'll show you one other thing. We're back over here where we started. So once again, gate coming across here, and then I'll come over into this. I'm gonna head straight that way. So I'm gonna go walk through there and just kind of see where I come out on the other side. I won't drag you along for all that. It's gonna be kind of a miserable walk, but somewhere right in here, maybe I'll angle it a little bit. I think I will probably. And anyway, I'll angle it kind of this way, and then we'll just cut straight through the woods over here back to that fence between my neighbors that I showed you earlier. So let me go figure out where that goes, and then I'll show you. Okay, so followed that out. I'm back over here. I had cut down this tree that had fallen over my fence earlier this year. This is kind of just where I ended up. It's not 90 degrees. It's a little bit different, but I've been kind of navigating through here with maps. I think this will be perfect. It's going to leave about 15 acres, looks like, of woods that are going to be around my house, and then all the rest of it we'll give to the cows. So the goal, of course, is just to maximize the amount of my land that the cows can actually use for forage. So I think that's going to work. This one right here, where I come out of this fence, I'm actually going to do a T instead of just an H. So I'll need to build up a T, a corner for over there, and then I think that puts me back down to 9 H's. I'm going to go ahead and build 10 though, I think. Or no, that would put me at 10. So I'll go ahead and build 11. So, all right.